Thank you, Irene. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is José Porto. I am forestry technician and researcher in XVIII, an enterprise based in Soria. And today is my pleasure to present you the Forest Adapt tool, that it's a viewer which is used to present the future potential distribution of the main tree species in the province of Soria, Spain. This tool was developed by XVIII with the collaboration of the Cambium Researching Group of the University of Valladolid in the framework of the Live Soria Forest Adapt, funded by the European Union. So first of all, I would like to mention or to present very briefly what's Live Soria Forest Adapt project about. This project aims to increase the resilience of the southern European forests to climate change. And given this situation, Soria will be used as a technical reference for forest management with climate change adaptation measures. One of the objectives of the project was developing a platform to provide relevant information for the evaluation of the climate change impacts on the spatial distribution of 9 forestry species in the province of Soria. This is the tool that we developed. And the species that we included are the ones that has the species that are the more important in the province because of economic purposes, or also because they are present in a huge extension. These species are 4 Pinus, such as Pinus sylvestris, Pinaster nigra and alepensis, the Juniperus turifera, 3 Quercus, Pyrenaica, Faginian, Quercus ilex, and finally the Fagus sylvatica. The data that we use for create this viewer, it was provided that for the Cambium Researching Group from the University of Valladolid in Soria, and it was a result of the study of Moreno et al. That this group, it was a partner in the LIFE project. So this data was obtained through the development of species distribution models. And here, very briefly, also, I present you the methodology that they use to generate these models. They use the National Forest Inventory of Spain. They choose every plot, categorizing these plots with presence and absence of the given species, and they cross this data with different variables such as climate, pH, aspect, and slope. They're using a modeling algorithm and obtain the species suitability for the reference period, that it is from 1981 to 2010, and using the climate projection for the future, they generate a temporal projection for future also for this suitability map for the different species. These models allow us to predict impacts in the distribution of forest species under the climatic conditions of future scenarios and periods of time. In this case, they have worked with 3 climate scenarios that are first of all, the reference period that I said before, and also the 3 scenarios of EPCC that are the SSP 126, the 370, and the 585. The first of all has the less affected conditions. The second one is moderate, and the third one is when the conditions change in a more heavy way. And using as a period for future these 3 periods that we have here: 2011, 2040, 2041, 2070, and 2070 to 2100. Then entering directly in the tool, what we have is this information that they produce divided in 2 big categories that are the information by species and the information by location. In these 2 parts, We have geospatial information and alphanumeric information, and finally, also we have the access to downloading the data. Here, I present you the aspect of the tool. In this case, we are starting for the geospatial information by species. As soon as we open the tool, we have 5 bars. In the first of all, we will have the presentation of the tool, explaining us what's the tool about, what's the project about. We have a guide. Sorry, here it's just in Spanish, this tool, so it's easy to understand, but the content is completely in Spanish. So here we have the guide where you will learn how to use the tool. And the third bar, it's the by species that I will explain now. The bar by location, and the third one, that's the bar to download the data. So we are in the bar by species. Here we can choose the species that we want to see in the map. And now we click in the geospatial information, and we can choose the distribution of the species. We have 3 sources. We can choose National Forestry Map, also the National Forest Inventory of the 20 years ago and then 2019. In this case, we show the National Forest Map for the Pinus pinaster, and here you can see it. Once we have the current information as a guide, we can enter in the future in the model, and here I present you the model for the period of reference that goes from 0 to 1 in a continuous variable that represents the probability of finding this species in this territory. Once we obtain this, we can also obtain the same representation by choosing in 2 values, just presence or probability of presence, the green one, or probability of absence in no color. This is for the period of reference, 1981-2010. Let's see what happened in future. I will show you just an example to be fast and go to the next slides. And this is exactly the layer that you see here, crossing it with the layer of the future period. When we cross it, we can obtain 3 different situations. In red is the area that used to have, or the area where it was possible to have this species in the period of reference, but in future is supposed to disappear, or it's supposed to not being able to grow here. In yellow, the stable area where we were supposed to find this species before and we will be able to find it in future. And in green, the area that will be colonized in future. The second part of the information by species is choosing the alphanumeric information. So you can download, you can access to a brief interpretation of the results for this species. Also, you can download a summary of more detailed and downloading the data for this species. Changing and now going for the information by location. We change now from this bar to this one. We can access to another kind of information that it's the richness. It means we show here for a given pixel if will be possible to have 1 species to 9 species. First of all, same as before, we want to show or represent how is the richness nowadays. In this case, we used the Spanish map, the Spanish forestry map, and just to see the different species and where they are located in Soria, and entering directly in the richness map of the province for the period of reference. In the more clear colors, it's where it's supposed to have nowadays the less amount of species, 0 or 1, and in the more dark area we can find we can find as maximum 9 species. This is for the period of reference. If we change for the future period, In this case, we can see how the richness is changing. We can see the shift to the north for the number of species. And another option that we can do is selecting here the species of interest. We can see this richness for the areas where, in this case, Pinus pinaster is going to be the more adapted species, the more probable to appear in the map. Same as before, we can download alphanumeric information for province and also for the comarca, for their small region. And just to finish, the data downloading is available here, or you can download here the complete data that we used for this viewer. The tool is available in this link. Also, you can enter with the QR. You can enter in this tool through the web page of the project, that is Soria Forest Adapt, or if not, you can use now the phone to enter with the QR. That's all. Thank you very much for your attention.